What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. Thank you for joining me on another Matthew Perry 2 video where we talk about stocks, and a lot of times we talk about our dividend portfolio. And in this video, I want to talk about spending another $10,000 on my dividend portfolio because I felt as though there's an opportunity to put some of that money in the places where I believe it should be. But I'm also worried about or focusing on paying off loans as well. You know, my student loans, which are now like 6.25%, and car loan, which is 7%. I'm tried to pay it off today. And honestly, this really brings up the topic of crypto, where my bank wouldn't allow me to access my money because I have separate bank accounts, and then my loan bank account obviously is a different one. It came through the dealership. So trying to access that money and sending it over here, they wouldn't let me do it right away. I had to go through a bunch of business days, and now they're like, I have to get that approved to get my own money out of my own bank account. So obviously, that's a little bit of an issue. But we're worried about doing that. But I'm still putting a lot of money into my dividend portfolio. And if you didn't know, my goal for this year was to deposit $24,000, was $2,000 per month, and we are currently in month 3. And I'm already $4,000 away from that goal because I ended the year somewhere around the 9,000 mark, close to $10,000. And now I'm sitting around 20 to 21,000 that I deposited for this year, which is fantastic. It's great because then it gives me a better dividend portfolio and what I can expect. I will go through projections maybe in a future video, maybe a video tomorrow. I can go over that. But I wanted to talk about this today because, you know, we're sitting at a good milestone, I would say, right now. And we're also going to talk about where we invested that $10,000. So guys, if you could, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell for more of these videos. And also, if you want to check out some of the links down below, you can definitely check out those links. But if we look at my account, my Robinhood account, it's at $29,893.93. I started this portfolio somewhere in October, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the month. Don't quote me on it. It's close to there. But I started with like $62, and I decided that I was going to make investments, and it was going to come from various passive income sources. Some passive income sources have grown quite a bit because of the rise in cryptocurrency and the markets in general, right? So I was able to deposit a lot more money into here. And also the discussion on not paying off my mortgage, but putting money into the S&P 500 or someplace that can give me, you know, 5 to 10% worth of gains, as well as maybe even a dividend payout overall, would be fantastic, right? That would be way better than paying off my mortgage. So even if I'm paying the interest, this would trump everything by giving me 10%, 12%, or in this case, this year, it's like 19 to 20% in some cases. But anyways, I'm sitting at $29,893.42, give or take dollars or cents, depending on what's happening, because it's still market open right now at the time of recording this. I am up $59.80 today, or about 0.2% on the day. On the week, I'm slightly down. I'm down about 0.6%, or $185. In the month, I'm up $214, or almost 1%, 0.7%. In the last 3 months, I'm up $209, or 0.7%. Year to date, I'm slightly down, $4.12, which is 0.01, 0.02, percent. In the last year, I'm up $653.69, or 2.24% overall. You can see that level of growth, which is really good to be able to see it up that much. But also, this is not just my portfolio for growth. This is a portfolio for dividends, and I'm looking for consistency within those dividends. So a lot of times I'm trying to buy ETFs or ones that have a long-standing life. Now, before, I had somewhere around the 20,000 mark in my last video, and I invested another $4,000 or $5,000, and then I invested another $5,000 just today, as I had a decent amount that came through in some of my passive income sources over the weekend. So I invested another $5,000 into here, total 10,000, and you're going to see different positions that I have. Right now, I now have 100 ticker symbol O, which is valued about $5,024 or $5,240 overall. I did purchase a little bit more than that. As you're going to see, I almost have 200 SPHD, which I did purchase another 100 plus just recently, just today. And now I have 195 shares at a value of $8,440. And also, I invested more into VYM. That's sitting at 45 or almost 46 shares at $5,360, and whatever changes there. So I invested into those places because I feel like those are consistent movers, those are consistent gainers. And VYM has been something, obviously, it's been around for a very, very long time. You look at the max back from 2007, you're going to see that consistent growth where it has grown by $66 over that time period, or 132%. Does that mean that it's going to continue on that trajectory? No, it doesn't. But this is supposed to be long standing to where it will gain me an average of like 10% per year, maybe 8% per year. I'm not looking for anything crazy. If we go and look at the dividend yield, you have 3.02% there. And if we look at all history, we're going to see since 2006, you had 8.24% 8.24% increase, not dividend yield. And the last year was up 11.56%. And then you also see 10% for 3 years, about 10% for 5 years, and about 10% for 10 years. But since 2006, it is up 8% overall. So honestly, I feel like that was a no-brainer to really be a part of. Yes, it's still miles away from my my mortgage interest rate, which is 3%. So as long as it is, kind of double what that is, I'm all for that, right? And that's the only one that I'm letting sit there. Everything else I'm kind of paying off quickly. That and Erica's car loan, which is like 3%. Both of them are 3%. So it doesn't make sense to really pay those off at a low interest rate when I could just take the money, the extra money, throw it into an ETF, the S&P 500 or something like that, and just be able to gain an average of 8 to 10% per year, which would be way better than paying the 3% in interest overall. However, paying the 6% or 7% for my car, as well as 6.25% for my student loans, does not make sense to go about those two. So that's why I'm paying those off before we dive into doing all that. So I am throwing a lot of money over there. These are just extra thousands of dollars that we have that we can put into this Robinhood portfolio. And I'm hoping to be able to build this up to 100,000, 200,000, so that I can collect a decent dividend every single month, or on a quarterly basis. I can get somewhere around, let's say, $2,000 of a dividend payment in the end. That would be fantastic. Every month, I would love to have $1,000 to $2,000, but we'll work our way up to that point, right? Whether it gets to $800,000, $900,000 that we have in there to where we're collecting these dividends. But anyways, the other two positions, like I said, ticker symbol O, I've talked about that previously. I've actually made two separate videos about it. $5,239. The consistency within that, you can see the growth and how this has been, right? It's up $41 or 400% over the lifetime, right? Since 2000 of them tracking this. But then you also have my average that's sitting at about $53.30. It's currently sitting at $52. So I'm actually down on this play over this time, but I'm also collecting a very, very good dividend with this. And I would imagine in the long term, you're going to see this up a lot more. But let me see where that dividend is. I believe it's at like 5%, but yeah, 5.86% that you get with this. But I am down out of every place that I bought it, or every spot that I bought it, I'm down $110 on this, which is about 2% of this portfolio. Now, I do have another play that I invested a lot into, which is SPHD. I currently have $8,435. I'm up $124, my average being $42.62. If we look at the history on this, we've seen this growth as well. The trajectory or the trend line is more of an incline trend line there. So I'm looking for things that are moving consistently. I'm not looking for something that gives me a gain over the next day. It would be great, but it's not something where I'm selling it the next day, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm looking for is that consistent gain throughout time. And then once I reach a certain point, I can collect that dividend and use that as passive income long term and just continue to either compound it if I have other sources, or I can just collect that extra $2,000 per month. It would be fantastic. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about my dividend portfolio, which sits at about $29,000, almost $30,000. Also, if I should have anything else, if you guys have anything that you feel like is a good dividend play, as well as moving consistently, let me know in the comment section below. But that's my video, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.